Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. I am Carol Williams with Williams Immigration, and we are back for another Monday morning edition of Beyond the Soundbite, where we talk about all things U.S. immigration. So the first thing I want to talk to y'all about this morning is the travel ban. So we know that there's a travel ban. It's roughly broken up into two different tiers of restrictions on individuals being allowed to enter the country based on where you are from. So as a sort of runoff to that travel ban, the State Department decided that they were going to not process visas for individuals who were from travel ban countries as part of the diversity visa lottery. Because I guess the sort of the thought was, well, if there's a travel ban, then we don't really need to process the visas. Except the visas and the ability to travel into the U.S., the agency that admits you, that's run by two different agencies. So the Department of State, as we know, is over all of the consulates, and Customs and Border Protection are the people that you meet when you enter the U.S. and you're at the airport. Those are the folks that are uniformed and sitting, and they run your passport and have a conversation with you. So we're talking about two different agencies. So a lawsuit was filed, and last week a federal judge said that that the State Department, through the consulates, or really the consulates through the State Department, must still process the visa applications. That the travel ban has nothing to do with the visa applications themselves. So the reality of this ruling is that, especially for those that are part of the diversity visa lottery, that now the consulates need to work to process those diversity visa applications before the end of this current fiscal year, which is September 30th. So a little over a month to process those applications. But the reality is that if visas are approved and an individual is from a travel ban country, a country currently listed under the travel ban, if they get on a plane, come to the U.S., arrive at the airport, CBP, Customs and Border Protection, can still turn them away. It also may be difficult for those folks to even get on the plane, because the airlines may in fact turn them away from even getting onto a plane where the end destination is the United States, because of the travel ban. So the travel ban restricts travel. It does not restrict the issuance of a visa. So that's really kind of where this current federal decision comes down. So the travel ban prevents individuals from traveling into the country. It does not prevent the consulates from processing a visa application, which kind of makes sense, right? If you have a country that is on the travel ban list today, but not on the travel ban list tomorrow, and you received your visa, then you could take that visa that you received while your country was in fact on the travel ban list. When they come off the travel ban list, you can use that visa to travel. So it kind of makes sense just procedurally. So, the federal court judge essentially kind of stopped Department of State from telling the consulates that they couldn't process these visa applications. So just keep that in mind. If you are currently from a country that has, that is part of the travel ban, and your visa is issued, you still need to check and make sure that your country, whether your country is off the travel ban before you attempt to use that visa to travel. The next thing I want to talk to you about, I was checking processing times, which I do often, on the USCIS website. And there was a note on the USCIS website about the processing times, specifically for employment-based applications. So I wanted to read that to you and then kind of break it down a little bit. So the note on the USCIS website says USCIS processing times for certain form types may no longer reference a specific service center location, for example, Vermont Service Center. We are in the process of adjusting all processing times for service center related forms to now list, quote, service center operations, SCOPs, end quote. Service center operations has expanded its capability to process casework at multiple locations at various points in time based on business needs and staffing requirements. Therefore, listing a specific location is no longer an accurate representation of where a case is processed. We are adjusting our case processing time metrics to provide the most accurate and up-to-date information by form type. While certain form processing times are now listed under Service Center operations, you may continue to receive correspondence from USCIS listing a specific Service Center location. So I thought that was super interesting that they have told us that they are updating how they are processing case, or updating how they are telling us how long it's taking cases to be processed. So essentially, we've seen, at least in my practice, we've seen cases get transferred from one service center to another, sort of midstream. That is in an attempt to even out workload and work through backlogs, which I don't have a problem with them trying to work through their backlogs, right? That only helps all of us. But it's always been a little confusing for some folks whether, which then service center we look at in terms of processing times, and if we're moving from one that appears to be faster to one that appears to be slower, what does that mean and why is that happening? So USCIS is now going to just list eventually everything under Service Center Operations, which is Service Center Operations is a division within headquarters, which is over all 4 of the major service centers. So it's over Texas, Nebraska, Vermont, and California. And that's where the lion's share of the employment-based cases are processed in one of those 4 service centers. So they're now going to eventually, as they continue to update the processing times, we'll only see one service center. So that will actually be helpful when we're trying to tell our clients how long a case will take. So we get that question often. So only time will tell how accurate this will be and if it will be truly helpful. But we'll see. I'll keep you updated. But I wanted to let you guys know that I thought that was interesting when I was checking processing times this past week. The next thing I want to talk about is, or let you know, is that on August 16th, Department of State released an announcment on social media, indicating that they are suspending the issuance of all visitor visas to individuals who are from Gaza. They have said that they want a, quote, full and thorough review of the process and procedures used in granting, especially the medical humanitarian visas. So if you're an individual from Gaza right now, all visitor visa issuance is stopped. It is specifically for visitor visas. So if you are trying to come over on a family-based green card, you're processing that, or you're processing in an employment-based category visa, then those should all be good to go. This was specifically for visitor visas for individuals from Gaza. So I'll keep you updated on that. We don't know how long that sort of review of those processes and procedures are going to take. They did not tell us, but we'll keep you updated on that as I know anything more. And the last thing I want to talk about this morning is the EB-1 green card extraordinary ability. So I've had several conversations recently about the EB-1 extraordinary ability green card. It is a first preference category green card. It is for individuals who have shown extraordinary ability in their particular field, in their particular niche in their field. Essentially, this is what I tell my clients, we need to show that what you've done puts you at the top of your field and that your colleagues think you're the best thing since sliced bread. That is a very simple way to think of it. No legalese there. Like, are you the best thing since sliced bread? Like, how do we show that, right? But here's a conversation I've been having recently. One, you need to be able to explain what you do and what you have done in very clear, simple to understand terms with very little to no industry jargon. the officers look at several applications every day. They're not all in the same industry. They may have never seen something in your particular industry before, right? They may have no prior knowledge of your industry. So the more that you can explain what you do and why it's important and who you serve, in just really everyday language, um, it just makes it so much easier on the officers who are looking at your application. The other sort of thing that the other concept, and other thing I've been talking about with folks recently is this. You can be the best thing since sliced bread. But if you, your parents, and I, as your lawyer, are the only people who can submit things to say that you are the best thing since sliced bread, your application will absolutely be denied. It will absolutely be denied, right? The agency wants to see documentation, hardcore pieces of paper that back up and show from folks that have the zero skin in the game as to whether or not you get this visa and get this, or proof for this category. They want to see documentation. If you don't have documentation, then the application will absolutely not get approved. So the more documentation you have, the better. So this is documentation from people that know you in the industry, documentation from people that don't personally know you in the industry, but they have heard of you. What is out there that tells the Immigration Service that you are the best thing since sliced bread, that you are at the top of your game, that you are at the top of your industry. That is what they want to see. So I've had several conversations recently with people who are super amazing at what they do, but they don't have the documents to show it, or they don't know and they haven't quite figured out how to talk about what they do without using industry jargon. So when I work with my clients, some of what we do is really nail down how you talk about your career and what you've done, but make it easily accessible so that an officer, and I, frankly, because if I don't understand it, I can't explain it, right? But make it easily accessible for someone to understand. So I wanted to leave you with those EB1 Extraordinary Ability Green Card tips this morning. So that's all I have for y'all this morning. If you need assistance with your cases, feel free to give us a call if you're not quite sure what's happening. If you have if you think you're eligible for extraordinary ability, you're just not quite sure how to sort of sort through the the requirements. My office is more than happy to help. Feel free to give us a call. And have a wonderful rest of your Monday.